Hey friends, Kevin here, and today we're going to talk about why you are going to want to have a passport card if you're doing van life in the United States. Now, of course, everything going on the last year, a lot of these border crossings have been closed, but they're going to open back up. And if you're going to do any serious traveling around the United States, it's going to be beneficial for you to have this. So if you don't know anything about it, I'm going to explain first why you would want it, and second of all, how to get it. And we're going to go through this right now. Now, I'll come back to some of this in a moment, but what you need to know for the rest of what I'm going to talk about here is a passport lets you go virtually anywhere around the world. It's what everyone is familiar with. But a few years back, the State Department came out with what was called a passport card, which is basically the size of your driver's license and allows you to get into Canada, back from Canada, Mexico, back from Mexico. But the reason you're going to want one of these is if you are traveling and you're adventuring and you're out doing van life or you're on your trips and your vacations, it's going to be sad if you get up this close and realize how close you are to going into Canada and you've never done it before, and now you can't because you don't have a passport or a passport card. The same thing with Mexico. When you realize that, oh gosh, I'm in South Texas, or I've made it down into these areas now where I could cut across and go check out Mexico, and you can't because you don't have it. And what's going to be worse if you end up hooked up with some people, and I've had this situation happen where I've been with people who didn't have what they needed and weren't able to go with me or with us into Mexico or into Canada. I've actually had to leave somebody behind in Texas before that wasn't able to cross into Mexico because they didn't have what they needed. So it takes time, several months' time, for you to go through the process and send away for this and get this stuff back. So you have to plan ahead of time, because when you realize a week ahead of time or a day ahead of time that you want to do this, you can't. It's just that simple. You can't do it that quickly. So you need to plan ahead. And especially for anyone doing van life, the passport card is cheap. A passport card is now $30 compared to a full passport, which is $110. And I think either way, anytime you apply for one of these, there's a $35 execution fee or something they call it. So it's going to cost you $65 total to get a passport card. If you've not been, and a lot of people haven't, into either Canada or Mexico, both of those places are just a different world than what you're used to. And if you're doing this, and I'm sure a lot of you live close enough that you've probably done this, you may have relatives, in one of these countries, and you've done this and you've traveled before. And before 9/11 happened, you didn't have to have anything to cross into these other countries. So younger people won't remember that, but those my age will remember when you didn't have to have anything to cross back and forth. But times have changed in the last 20 years, and now you do. So while you're out experiencing and adventuring, you may as well experience and adventure a little bit into what Canada and Mexico have to offer you. Now, the basic process for doing this stuff. You're going to need your birth certificate. Every state is different if you don't have your birth certificate, and you can't send a photocopy in. It has to be a real one. It has to be your original, or it has to be a real certified copy that you got from the state in which you were born. If you live in the state where you were born, it is a lot easier. I know in Virginia, if you're a Virginia resident and you were born in Virginia, it's simply a trip down to the DMV and $10 or whatever to have them print you off another birth certificate. It's going to be different in different states. It's going to be different if you were born in a different state like I was. And you're going to need 2 photographs. They should be identical, and they have to be a certain size. They have to be done a certain way. And believe it or not, the best place to have this done, and I don't know why they don't have a big sign advertising that they can do this, is to go back to the photo department in a Walmart. And I can't remember what the cost is, maybe $6, $7. And they will stand you there and they will shoot this photo and they will print out the right size photographs. And part of this, when you fill out this official form that has to be filled out, is going to be something about how old these photographs are. And if they're too old, your passport thing will get rejected. So you want to make sure that you have these pictures shot, and within a few days you're going and you're filing for your passport. Now, one of the big things that's changed, you can choose between the $30 passport card or the $110 full passport if you think you may travel to Europe or somewhere else in the world someday. Or you can pay both of those fees, the full $140, and you can have both of them. That, for some reason, was not an option when they first came out with the passport cards. And once upon a time, and I just looked this up so I would have current information for you guys and gals, but at the time I did mine the last time, I had to choose between one or the other. So I ended up getting stuck with a full passport, was not able to get a passport card, and had to go back and forth into these countries. And it's a drag having to carry a full passport, because a full passport is quite large to try to keep in your pocket or something and have to worry about losing while you're running around. Having a passport card is much, much, much easier. So I'm going to make an attempt, now that they're doing it, to actually get a passport card for me also, simply because it's easier to just have that card to pull out of my pocket going into Canada or Mexico at a border crossing, rather than have to keep up with that full passport book and have it stamped and all of that garbage. And like I said, it's just so big that, even if you're a woman, you cross over the border into Mexico or something and you're going to hang out for a few hours or a day, you really don't want to be walking around with a big full purse pocketbook. You just don't. You want, just stick what you need in your pocket and go on. The same thing for guys. I wear cargo shorts, but it's still, that thing is awful big even for the pockets of cargo shorts. And it sticks out, and it's obvious when I'm walking around that I've got this passport sticking out, and I just don't like it. So the card is a much better option. And again, it's going to save you money if you don't think you're going to be leaving North America, but you still want to be able to go into Canada or Mexico. By the way, those of you that have one or the other or both of these, I would like to hear your opinions down in the comment section. And I know I have some viewers that are Canadian. I have no idea how this works for you guys and gals in Canada. So, and the rest of us down here in America probably don't either. So you may want to put a comment down there and kind of explain to us what happens and what the process is if it's different for our other Canadian viewers. But it's a little bit of a hassle, a little bit of a drag, because it does take so long to do this. It's just part of it. It's just part of the bureaucracy and the way things work. And I understand background checks and things have to be done. It's there for a reason. It's done for security. I have no problem with that. But it's just that you have to plan ahead. And when some opportunity comes up for you to do something, go somewhere, you're probably not going to have time at that time to be able to get one of these. And you can pay hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to services and try to do a rush fee, and you might be able, if you're lucky, but there's no guarantees, you might be able to pay a bunch of extra money and get this thing in something like 3 weeks, but it's not going to be anything fast. Any questions you guys and gals have, be sure to put those down in the comment section also. If it's something I wasn't clear on, I'll do my best to answer it. Any stories you have about passports or border crossings, put those down. Of course, there's always other things to watch on this channel. Some suggestions probably popping up here. Different van videos, different travel videos. Never hesitate to let me know what I can do that will help you out. And we'll talk soon.